Peace and love, world. Welcome to another episode of Conversation with Zoe, episode 47, titled All Lives Don't Matter. Black Lives Matter. I want to read you guys quickly something I wrote, a part of a little story that I wrote. I'm just going to read you 3 lines. This means no hanging out late because you can be wrongfully accused of stealing a backpack like Khalif was. No hanging out in large groups in the park, or you can end up like the Central Park 5. You can't even go to the corner store and get some Skittles and in Arizona, or you'll end up like Trayvon. How do all lives matter if this life doesn't? You can't say all lives matter. You can't be that insensitive or irrational or heartless to say all lives matter when ours don't. The video from Sean King that he posted, and it's circling right now, about the young boy playing basketball in his driveway. He saw the police. He hid behind the car. If that does nothing to you, it's like you don't have a heart. You don't have a conscience. You may not have kids. You may not have no one that you love in this world. If that didn't affect you, and that's the life that I've lived. Through police encounter, I've had my fair share of run-ins with the police, and if anybody knows me, I'm not a trouble kid at all. So I want to talk about what's been going on now. I want to try to encourage people to, yes, all lives do matter, but they actually don't. And I want to teach you something different, right? Why do us black people get offended when you say that to us, right? One, you're undermining our feelings. So you don't really care what it is that we're saying to you, right? So we say Black Lives Matter, and you say, no, all lives matter. No. You see, you're not acknowledging, right? You're belittling my feelings, our feelings, right? That's why we get upset. That's why we get offended. If you have kids, like I said, if you have someone that you love, right? Doesn't matter their creed, their race, their nationality, nothing. You would never want them to live in fear. You would never want them to know every time you leave this house, there's a chance you may or may not come back. No one deserves that. I don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. Your mother, your father, no one deserves that. Right? Social media is Trollville, right? So everyone's circulating with the All Lives Matter. A lot of people are really standing by it. A lot of people funded the cop with $1 million bill to get out of jail, right? Because the people don't see anything wrong with it. Because it doesn't directly affect them. That's one thing that I've learned, right? Through everyone who stands by the All Lives Matter movement, is the fact that it doesn't directly affect them. So why would I really care? And that's the selfish, individualized, people living in individualism. That's the world that they consume. If it doesn't directly affect me and mine, then I don't care, and I throw it out the window. And I understand, we live in a self-preserved world where not everything has to matter, and it's a lot to carry when you're carrying on the weight of all the problems. But to be honest, children shouldn't be living in fear. Black people shouldn't be living in fear. You shouldn't be a child or adult living in fear. So routine traffic stop. How does it go? I always leave my wallet in a visible place. Lower down the music, put the keys on the dashboard. Yes, sir, no, sir. Count to 3. And I'm just hoping that I get to see my family again, see my girlfriend again, my loved ones. Why do I deserve that? Why does anybody deserve that? So I wanted to take a more radical, more aggressive approach to this episode, but I want to try to sympathize with you guys a little bit, because I know it doesn't directly affect you. I know that you were raised in hate. I know that your grandpa and grandma, taught you this stuff. And your parents were raised in the same, and you were raised in the same hatred, right? Some people have had bad encounters with people of color, right? And some people, you just see us, you see thug, you see criminal, you see delinquent, you see scum of the earth, bastard, doesn't deserve to share the same air as me. That's all you see. So you're filled with so much hate. But why? You know? And I feel sorry for you. I've really had to self-reflect and pray for it a lot. And I feel sorry that you were raised with such hatred in your heart towards people who have never done anything to you. And like I said, some people are scorned from a bad encounter they've had with someone. But let's take it the next step. I've had to learn to be a non-threat. Right? I have to be soft-spoken, gentle, kind, endearing, welcoming, respectful. Right? That's what makes me a non-threat as a black man. Right? So, with that being said, we've all had to sort of learn this, how to fit into your world. Because this is your world, white people. It's not ours. We're not welcome here. We're not wanted here. Right? We're just trying to do the same thing you're trying to do and put some food on the table, feed our kids, feed our family, feed ourselves, and that's it. Everyone has that right. We all have the right to go out into America, into the world, into the workforce, and bring something back home to feed us. Why are we stripped of that right? And lastly, what I want to talk about is service for this country. You can look this up. Black men have been on the front line of many major wars. Right? How are we such a low population in America, 13 to 15%, but in the army, in like Vietnam and other wars, we're in the 30s. So that's how much you guys value us. The government feeds into it too. All those white racist bigots that are up there, they feel the same way too. And how is that so? So we're worth everything to go kill ourselves, fight for our country. You guys shit on us every chance you get, but yet we come back to segregation, racism, lynching, and this is the same man who fought for your country, who fought for our country. So everyone always wants to say with Colin Kaepernick and everything else, who has a family who in law enforcement and in that were in the army and are army veterans. So it's like you guys don't talk about the millions of veterans, white or black, that are homeless, that suffering from PTSD, that their time in Vietnam and Desert Storm and Iraq, that wiped their mind out, right? But yet people forget. People love to forget, and people love to point out the part of the story that's convenience. Let's stop living in convenience. I haven't done my due diligence on the latest killing in Atlanta. I found out last night. It was heavy for me. I was about to go to bed, and I know I would have been up all night, so we'll touch on that. Right now, we are approaching 8 minutes and 46 seconds. Blackout, rest of it, moment of silence for George Floyd, who should be alive.